What's going on, everyone? TM24 Plays here, and we are back with some more Marvel Snap content. Now today, what I've done is put together two Series 1 and lower decks for those that are kind of just starting out and new to Marvel Snap. So I'm going to go over each deck. We'll hop into a little bit of gameplay of each of them. But before I do, I'm going to kind of explain the cards in there, the important cards that really make the deck go, and the ideal line of play. So we're going to hop right in. And in this first deck we're looking at is a Series 1 Zoo deck. So with it being Zoo, that means you're going to have a bunch of small cards out there, and you're going to try and win by, kind of overrunning them at multiple locations at the same time, or maybe it's just a turn 6 big drop of power. So for here, you can see we've got 5 1-drops, and then we've got a host of a couple other cards. So what I've got in here, I've got the important cards. Obviously, with this being a Zoo deck, you need things that are going to buff those small cards. So you're looking at Blue Marvel and you're looking at Khazar. Those are going to give you buffs. Khazar is going to buff all of your 1-drops, while Blue Marvel is going to buff everything. So those cards are going to be really, really important to this deck. Additionally, I've got Angela and Bishop here. So playing on Angela is going to allow her to buff, and playing cards is going to allow Bishop to buff. So you can get both of those cards at a fairly high power. And hope that you've got kind of enough to just kind of overrun him elsewhere. We've got Ant-Man because he's great. A turn 6 Ant-Man with Nightcrawler or Rocket or Squirrel Girl or Blade or anything else that you can drop is going to feel really, really good. Ant-Man's going to be 4, 5, 6 power potentially if you've got Khazar and Blue Marvel down without any location shenanigans. Squirrel Girl is going to allow you to put power at multiple locations. I like Nightcrawler because he allows you to move and maybe reach a location that normally you wouldn't be able to. And then Blade is, he's going to be 3 power, 4 or 5 power with Khazar and Blue Marvel. So those are going to kind of be your 1-drops. Next up, you've got your 2-drops. You've got Angela and you've got Armor. Armor is going to be there to potentially protect some of your 1-drops here in case of a Killmonger or something like that. And as we said with Angela, she can get buffed just by playing multiple cards on her. Next up with Bishop, as we said, the more cards you play, the better, so he will get buffed. Captain America is our next 3-drop here, and he's going to buff that whole lane, and he's going to feel really good potentially on top of either Angela or on top of a lane that you are going to fill. Again, Khazar, Blue Marvel are in there for the buffing of these smaller cards. And then, of course, we've got Chavez. Chavez is great. She's going to allow you a little bit more consistent draw. And at the very least, she's 9 power on turn 6, which in itself can feel pretty good. So the ideal line of play that I typically look for is getting Nightcrawler down on 1. I hesitate to play too many of the other 1-drops simply because we don't want a Killmonger coming down and destroying our whole board before we even get a chance to get really going. Turn 2, you want to get Angela down if possible. You want to be able to play on her and start buffing her up. Same thing with Bishop. You want him down on 3 so that you can go ahead and, over the next 3 turns after him, play multiple cards and get him buffed up. Turn 4, you want to get Khazar down. Turn 5, you want to get Blue Marvel down. Those are pretty self-explanatory. You want to be able to buff everything that you're going to drop on turn 6, which is hopefully going to be 3 or more 1-drops, and maybe it's a Captain, maybe it's an Armor. It's wherever you need to get your power in order to win those games. And then, like I said, you've got Chavez as your other option. If maybe you've already locked a lane down and you just need that little bit of extra power in one lane, Chavez is going to be great. So this is, as I said, a Series 1 pool of cards. So Series 1 or lower, and we are going to get into some gameplay here, so here we go. All right, we are taking our Series 1 and lower deck out into the ladder here, and look at that. We've got our perfect turn 1 play. If we can get it down, unfortunately, it's going to be taken from us. Like I said, I kind of hesitate to play any of the others because we'd rather play them on turn 6 if possible. So let's see. We see the Danger Room. A little bit scary. We probably want to stay away from there if we can. They do get Daredevil down, which is going to be fine because we know that we're going to be playing we're probably going to be playing Blue Marvel there. So he might end up locking a lane, but we definitely have a shot here to just get him down and see what he does. Turn 4. So, what are we going to lose here? We lose our Rocket. Not terrible. We do pick up Khazar, which is huge. Right now, it's a little bit sketchy just because we only have a single 1-drop in our hand ready to go for turn 6. So let's see. They're getting Polaris down. That's not going to move anything. Iceman comes out. It's going to hit Angela. Like I said, a little bit annoying there, but not the end of the world. The way I kind of see this one playing out right now is he's in a pretty good spot. He's ahead in 2 locations. We do know Bishop's going to be buffed. We definitely want to play on a location that we already have played on, so hopefully he locks down one of the ones that we're not really worried about here. So we are going to get Blue Marvel down, knowing that's going to buff everything, and we've got a bunch of 1-drops to come. He's going to play Sunspot into the Danger Room, and Shang-Chi comes out. Our Blue Marvel comes down. We should have the lead in Sokovia here. We do get our Chavez, which is a little bit frustrating there. As you can see, we're a little bit behind here. We wish we had more 1-drops. If we still had our, our rocket that was there, that would have been great. Unfortunately, we are a little bit behind here, but it's not the end of the world. What we're going to do is we're just going to play Angela and Captain over into Sokovia. He plays Chavez into the middle. Angela comes down, buffing, as does Captain America. And look at that. We're going to get our first win with our Series 1 in undercards. So even if you don't hit those 1-drops, you can still win these games. It would have been a little bit more difficult if he was going to pull us around, but that's a good way to get a first win here. So let's go. Zoo deck is super easy to pilot. You do have a couple of different options depending on how your hand looks. Turn 6, cards can't be played here. That's good to know. And actually, that makes me feel like they might play here. So not a bad idea for us to go ahead and drop our rocket. And look at that. We hit right away, as do they. So that feels really, really good to start. We're already up. Obviously, we'll be tied if that Ant-Man hits. And it looks like we're switching hands. So not terrible for us. We're going to go ahead and get our armor down to kind of protect our raccoon here. They might be playing the same thing. They played a Colossus instead. Okay. But as you can see, we are ahead in the vault now. Now might be a good time to go ahead and start going for one of these other lanes here. And even though cards can't be played here, we still have Nightcrawler. So that'll allow us to reach the vault on turn 6, even if it's locked off to us. And we do hit Blue Marvel, and we are going to put Nightcrawler down, just in case we want to end up throwing him over there. And we're going to try and compete for Asgard here. He gets a Warpath down. He's going to take Asgard, which honestly is good for us, because going into turn 6 here, we know that, we hit Khazar, but we'd rather have Blue Marvel because he's going to buff everything. So we're going to give him Ant-Man and Khazar, and he's going to give us a lot more cards than that. So let's see what he ends up giving us. I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to play into the vault right now, but let's see where he goes with this. He does. He gets Mr. Fantastic over into the vault, as does Armor, so he is ahead there as of right now. If we put our Nightcrawler over there, we will end up taking that location. So we'll get a couple of his cards, and we're going to go ahead and get our Chavez. So putting Nightcrawler over there is probably the right call. I don't think he'll play into this middle lane because he doesn't want to lose that power on his Warpath, and we're up here anyway. This might be a safe time to go ahead and play our Spectrum that we picked up. He is playing into Asgard. We did move our Nightcrawler and buff our armor. And I think we're going to end up... Oh, it's close. We are going to end up getting this done. So he ends up getting that lane, but we were able to move our Nightcrawler over and then hit them with the Spectrum. And we're going to go ahead and get that dub. So again, another win that you kind of just got to piece together depending on what you get. Of course, this one changed a little bit because of Mindscape. But as you can see, this deck can definitely compete. All right, and we'll see if we can get one more good game with this Zoo deck, and then we'll hop right over to our other Series 1 deck. Looks like we've got Rocket, Ant-Man, and Captain, and we're going to get a little peek into his hand. So let's see what he's got. Devil Dino. Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit tough. It does make me want to get Rocket down just because he might be playing Agent. So we'll play Rocket, and look at that. I think we're going to hit his Agent. Ah, it's a Soul Stone. Okay, so he is playing the Thanos deck. Definitely good to know here. I don't think we want to play anything here yet. This one is probably going to be tough for us to go ahead and get that win, but let's see what we can do. We are going to play Captain here. After this turn, put a card from each player's hand here. I kind of want to fill a lane, or at least have it close to being filled. Pulling our Blue Marvel or our Khazar would be great here. Lockjaw comes down. Yep, that's typical. There's a Reality Stone as well. Ooh, Fist Tower. That's definitely a location we want to be a little bit wary of. He probably has, if I had to guess, I would say he probably has a Killmonger somewhere in his deck. So we're going to be a little bit hesitant on what we play out here. Here comes one Time Stone. And it brings out Wave. Okay, that's not too bad for us. Space Stone as well. And there's Arrow, which is going to pull our Nightcrawler, which honestly is not terrible. We are going to play Blue Marvel into our middle lane. We do have a couple of cards that we can play next turn, but we know that we're going to draw. We are going to draw Chavez next turn. They did move their Soul Stone over so that they could get another proc off of their Lockjaw. Leech comes down. A little bit frustrating. Hopefully he hits a stone here, and we are ahead in all the lanes going into turn 6 here. So we hit our Chavez. Now, just because we're ahead doesn't mean we've got this locked up quite yet. I could totally see him trying to move some of our cards over here. So it would probably benefit us. I mean, he could use maybe like a Magneto or something like that. That'll pull him away from the Bugle. Honestly, without knowing what he's got, though, we've kind of just got to play the hand we're dealt here. The Leech definitely hurts because it kind of stops a lot of our game plan here. But because we do have Blue Marvel and Khazar out, we can kind of just go ahead and slam a bunch of things down. These are all going to be buffed to some extent. These two a little bit more because they are 1-drops, but let's see if we get this done. Khazar is going to feel really good on Rocket and Nightcrawler as well. We feel like we're in a really good spot here against a really, really good deck. So Angela does come down. Not going to get the buff that we really, was going to hope that she would get. But I think we've got a shot here depending on what he plays. It all comes down to that last card. What does Lockjaw pull? Hopefully nothing too crazy. It's just a Sunspot. And look at that. We just beat a Thanos deck with our Series 1 Zoo deck. So that feels really, really good. We love to get that victory. I feel like this is a good spot to kind of switch on over to the other Series 1 deck. So here we go. All right, and we are back. Here we go. This is the other Series 1 deck. Obviously, this one has got the Devil Dino in it, and probably one of the stronger Series 1 decks that you can actually make. But before we get in that, if you've enjoyed the video so far, please go ahead and just hit that subscribe button for me, as it really does help me out. But let's get into this Series 1 Devil Dino deck. So you've got some of the usual suspects here in a Devil Dino deck. You've got Sentinel, you've got White Queen, you've got Moon Girl, all cards that are going to help empower your Devil Dino. And obviously the goal is to get 2 Devil Dinos down, 1 on 5, 1 on 6. But even if you don't get those down, you have other options here. So just running through these real quick. We've got Ant-Man, again, super, super strong 1-drop, especially in Series 1. Nightcrawler, again, I love to get Nightcrawler down. Being able to hit those lanes that otherwise you wouldn't be able to feels really, really good. Armor, Armor is going to be able to protect your dinos. So you'll be able to get 1 dino down, hopefully on the Armor lane, and then the other one on the Cosmo lane, but that'll be coming in a second. Sentinel, as we said, is just 2-3. Sentinel's going to refill your hand, though, helping keeping that Devil Dino real healthy. Mr. Fantastic, just a really solid 3-drop, allows you to hit power in multiple lanes, can feel pretty good. Captain America, just to buff up that lane, could be as high as a 3-6, so that feels really, really good. Cosmo, as we said, is a protector for Devil Dino, so definitely a pretty crucial card there. Moon Girl is going to duplicate your hand. Ideally, you're hitting Devil Dino so that you can get 2 of them to come down. White Queen, let's say you don't have Moon Girl in your hand. White Queen is a very, very solid option at 4-6. Decent power, and you get a peek into their hand, into their best card, and see, well, not their best, their highest cost card, and kind of see if you can kind of figure out their game plan before it actually comes down. Now, here we've got Iron Man. He's kind of another option here. Maybe you can only get 1 dino down, or maybe you don't hit your dinos at all. Iron Man is a really solid option, especially when we compare that with Spectrum coming up at our turn 6. But first off, you're trying to hit those dinos. So you've got your Devil Dino in there. You've got cards that refill your hand. Ideally, that's what you're playing. That's why he's one of these really, really important cards. And then Spectrum, kind of a backup option here. You do have quite a few ongoing cards in Ant-Man, Armor, Mr. Fantastic, Captain America, Cosmo, Iron Man, and Devil Dinosaur. So Spectrum coming down to hit one of those, or all of those, is still going to feel really, really good. But ideally, you can go Nightcrawler on 1, Sentinel on 2, Cosmo on 3, Moon Girl on 4, and then Devil Dinos on 5 and 6. And maybe you need to drop that Ant-Man on turn 6 next to that Devil Dino for just a little bit of extra power. But that's kind of the ideal line of play that I see here with this deck. So let's get into some games with it. All right, here we go. Hopping into another game with our Series 1 Devil Dino decks. So remember, these are all Series 1 or lower cards. So if you're newer to the game, this might be a pretty good deck to give a shot here. Negative Zone is not going to be too great for us, but we are going to want to go ahead and get Ant-Man down now. Looks like we're probably switching hands on turn 6. A little bit difficult. Kind of changes our game plan a little bit. Bucky comes down. Now, if we can block that, we're going to want to. And it looks like we do have priority, so by playing Cosmo here, we should be able to stop his Carnage or his Deathlock, which should be the next card he's playing. Let's see if we guess correctly here. Emperor's taking his time. We do hit that lane with our Cosmo, blocking his Carnage just like we thought we would. So that feels really, really nice. I don't think we want to duplicate here simply because we're probably giving him our hand on turn 6. So we'd rather give him not a whole lot to play with. We are going to get Captain down and kind of see if we can solidify a couple of these lanes. They're going to go ahead and drop Moon Girl, which is really interesting. They've got a full hand. We're switching. So what we're going to want to do here is get our Devil Dino down. And we should be ahead in 2 lanes here. They got their own Dino, and they duplicated. So this could be really good for us. They're at 15 power. We can definitely get our own down. We are ahead in 2 lanes. We gave them, what did we give them? We gave them a Iron Man. I don't remember the other cards. Moon Girl, I think. But I think if we drop a Devil Dino just here into the middle, we should get this done. We were able to play 2 Dinos, even if one of them is from him. So his Moon Girl doing a little bit of work for us. But we are going to play our Devil Dino into the Mindscape here. I don't see how they should be retreating. And we're going to get that victory, and that feels really, really nice. Our hand is full. Unfortunate for him, but hey, that's a good way to get a dub here. Let's go. All right, running up against a couple of Here we go, on to the next one. We do hit our Devil Dino, so that's going to feel pretty good if we can get it down. Mojo World, remember, we can compete on those because typically we're playing a lot of cards. Sunspot comes down. That's actually that's a really nice variant there. Murder World comes out. We're not too scared of that. We are going to go ahead and start filling this Mojo World lane. Force him to continue to commit to it rather than just a Sunspot that solos it. So we're going to get Sentinel down. He's playing another card there, Zabu. Little bit scary there. We are tight in power, but he does have 2 cards there as to our 1. Death's Domain, that's actually pretty good for us. So I think what we can do here, I think we can focus on 1 lane, knowing that maybe last turn we play our armor there. So we might have a little bit of a sneaky play here. Moon Girl does come down for them. Maybe they're playing some sort of a Dino deck as well. That's 4 power they added there. They're snapping. Let's go ahead and get Captain down. I feel like that's a pretty good play there. It's only turn 4. He can't quite lock us out. I think Captain's a good call there. I fully expect him to play into Murder World right now, though. He did snap, so maybe he's kind of got a read on what we're doing here, or maybe he's got his own plan. But I think we're ahead here. I think it'll be really tough for him to win this lane. Of course, let's see what he does first, though. He's taking his time. I'd love if he played into Mojo World. He didn't. There's a Black Widow. That's fine. We would actually prefer our hand full. There goes Korg. What else is he losing? A second Korg. So he's throwing some rocks into my deck, hoping to take me out here. He played 4 on 4. We are ahead here. So we got a couple options. We could split our power. I want to take this lane so that we can armor it in our last turn. And that means our best bet is to go with the Devil Dino into Mojo World right now. They played into Mojo World as well. Let's see who's got the lead. There's our Dino. They got a Darkhawk. Okay. Interesting. I think we could still get this done. I think if we go armor here, we're going to lose 4 power but get 2 back. That should still keep us up here. I think we've got a shot at this if we play it this way. I'd hate to see, I think Rock Slide would be our worst outcome here. But let's see what he does. He plays everything into this middle lane, kind of like we expected. We're only up 2 as of... Well, we're up 3 now in the Devil Dino lane. Darkhawk comes out, as does a Cosmo, and we are going to get it done. We use armor in a little bit different way to steal a lane, and we're going to go ahead and take that victory over a Darkhawk deck for 4 cubes. So that feels really, really good. He got 2 Darkhawks down, and we still ended up beating him with our Dino. So let's go. We do have a Dino and Cosmo for protection. Monster Island is great. I actually feel like getting Ant-Man over there is probably the right call early on here. That changes things a little bit. We don't want the lane too stuffed already. Zabu does come down. That's a little bit scary. I like the idea of getting Mr. Fantastic down. We get 2 free power here, 2 more here. That feels pretty good. We're tied up. I think we're in a pretty good spot for now. We hit a Nightcrawler. I'd rather get Captain down. I guess the question is, where do we put him? I think we put him here for now. Let's just put him in the middle lane. He plays Wong. We are going to have priority. And this is where Cosmo is huge because he can also help us block whatever he thinks he's got going on here. So we're going to go ahead and get Cosmo down. And do we armor up? I don't think we armor quite yet. I think we just play Cosmo, let him see that, know that Black Panther's not going anywhere. He gives me the thumbs up, and we are going to get that dub again. So I feel like this is a really, really good spot to end off. You've seen us win with multiple dinos. You've seen us win with 1 dino. And we've got other cards that can block what they're doing. So this deck is still pretty good, even though it's only Series 1 cards. So if y'all enjoyed the video, please remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button as well, as it really does help me out. But until the next one, remember, have some fun.